All right, I think we're ready to get started. I'm watching the chat and I'm super jealous of all these people who are watching from warmer locations than Madison, Wisconsin. So if anyone wants to trade places, just let me know.
Me too.
Yes, so we'll get started. Mark, if you want to go to the first slide. Just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. We are recording this webinar and we will be emailing it out probably tomorrow, but definitely sometime this week after the event. So it will go out to anyone who's registered. Also, if you want to talk to other attendees, make sure to use the chat function. I think most of you have figured out how to use that already. If you have any questions during the presentation, please feel free to submit those through the Q&A. The chat gets kind of busy, so we don't often see the questions that come in through there. But if you submit it through the Q&A, we have left time at the end of the presentation to go over those. So my name is Sarah Kerwin. I am the Director of Marketing here at WrenchWay, and I'm joined with Mark Wilson, our co-founder and CEO, and he's going to be doing the majority of the presentation today, and I'll chime in here and there on some things. But before we get started, just a little bit about WrenchWay. So our goal at WrenchWay is really to help solve the technician shortage. You can see a list of solutions there. We work with schools, we work with shops, we work with technicians all across the country, and just our main goal is to help solve the shortage. We'll be talking a little bit throughout the presentation about what we do, but really we kept this mostly educational. So if you want to learn more about WrenchWay, there'll be a chance at the end for you to request some more information. But other than that, I think we're ready to kick it off, Mark.
All right, thanks, Sarah.
Yeah.
There is a lot of people in attendance here today, and I think we had close to 1,000 registrants. So like Sarah said, post your questions in the Q&A. She's going to keep an eye on that. We'll save them for the end unless something kind of pressing comes up. So like Sarah said, I'll be doing most of the presentation, so she can keep an eye on that stuff. All right, so what are we going to talk about today? Obviously, you're all here for a topic that is very timely, I guess. Every company we talk to is looking for technicians. The problem isn't going away. Unfortunately, there's just not enough people going into the industry. There's a lot of people retiring. So we wanted to put together a webinar about how shops going into a new year, I guess we're a half a month in now, can actually attract technicians in 2022. We did not want this to be the same old recruiting topic or bullet points that you've probably seen from many other people in the past. Honestly, probably from us too. We wanted to make this one look a little different and talk about topics a little differently than maybe you're used to. So we're going to talk about truly making it a priority, not just say it's a priority, but make it a real priority. Something called employer marketing, and then activities that actually lead to results. That's probably the third bullet where we'll spend most of our time today. And then some bonus benefits that will help your company outside of just attracting technicians. If you follow a program like we're going to define in here, some of the other things you may not think of, but also help your business. And then of course, we'll save time at the end for some Q&A. I usually, when I do these, we always schedule them for an hour, but I rarely go that long. I'd like to save time. And then if we get done early, we get done early. All right, so before we jump in, hopefully you know this. Hopefully you're not here for just a magic solution that you plug in and all your problems are solved and you're never going to have to search for technicians again. The things we'll talk about definitely do work. We work with hundreds of companies across the country, but there's no silver bullet. You're going to have to roll up the sleeves a little. It does take some work. It takes some effort. You have to truly be a good company to work for in the first place. So if you're here looking for that quick fix and something that can just solve all your problems, I wish that was the case, but that's not going to be it. So I just want to preface that before we get going. All right, so first point, make recruiting a priority. Sounds simple, right? You probably wouldn't be on this webinar investing an hour of your time if you didn't say it was a priority. The time of the year we're in, everyone claims it is a priority, and this is the year we're going to get it done. This is the year where we're going to take it seriously. We know the technician shortage is getting worse. We know we have to do something about it. That's what I hear over and over and over. And myself, our sales, our marketing team, our account manager team, every shop, every dealership we talk to says that same type of thing. So we're not going to do a poll here live, but I bet if I did a poll and said, is finding and retaining technicians a top priority for your company going into the new year? Everyone would raise your hand. Again, that's why you're here, kind of common sense. But Then if I asked, all right, so that being said, how many of you truly have a plan and a system in place to, other than posting on job boards, to accomplish that goal? Especially the industry we're in, the profession we're in, the service department, pick stops. You guys do a better job than maybe any group I've ever worked with. I started my career as a CPA, so very numbers oriented. I'm impressed and amazed all the time I talk to our clients of how many metrics they track, the systems they have in place, how during their weekly, their monthly, their quarterly management meetings, they're going through their numbers, they're seeing how they can improve, they document everything. But then they also tell me how finding technicians is such a priority. So I asked them, well, what metrics are you tracking there? Is it part of your management meeting? Is it across the board in your company a goal that everyone knows and identifies? And it's kind of crickets. It's, well, we posted on Indeed and we got 3 people to apply and none of them were that qualified. Well, if that's the input you put in, that's the output you're going to get. You need to be taking this a little more seriously. And those are the things we're going to go through with you today. But first, it's that mindset of you can't just say it's a goal. You have to actually put a system in place, just like you would any other part of your business. So if you don't like the analogy of any other part of your business, let's lose the cliche, it's beginning of the year, I want to lose 20 pounds. I like to talk about goals versus systems. I don't know if any of you have read Atomic Habits. I think it was the most popular book in America last year, most popular business book last year. Highly recommend it. There's a lot of good stuff. One point that I'll summarize though is goals versus systems. Similar to SMART goals, if you've ever gone through any or read anything about that. But the example I give is if I want to lose 20 pounds over the next, say, couple months, I have on here, I'm going to do that by eating healthier and working out. Well, that's not enough just to say the goal. If I truly have a system in place, and I'll use an example of an app. Almost everyone has smartphones and there's a million apps out there for fitness. But instead of just saying, I want to lose weight, I use an app I would use an app that would show me recipes that I like or that are easy to make. It allows me to track calories every day, not take days off. It shows me the exercises for someone in my age range and for the amount of weight I want to lose and my fitness levels, the activities I should be doing. It lets me track the workouts. It provides dashboards and shows how I'm progressing and gives suggestions. It might even have a fitness coach that I can, message a question to or jump on a call with or things like that. That is the difference between a goal and a system. It doesn't mean you shouldn't have goals. It just means you need a system to back it up that will get you to the goals. Kind of common sense, but when I say this to shops and dealerships we work with, and I'm guessing a lot of you in your head right now are thinking the same thing, like, yeah, we do talk about how we need to find technicians, but we really don't have much of a system in place. And I don't mean just an applicant tracking system where you track the people that do apply. I mean a system to get people to apply in the first place other than job boards and see how that can be done. So a lot of today, we're going to go through what are some of the tools, some of the activities you should be doing. But a key point before we even get there is the importance of having a system. You could maybe make this work in tracking things in Excel, things like that. During the presentation though, I'm going to show a lot of screenshots of WrenchWay. Obviously that we built these tools for a reason. So we don't need to go into every little page on here, but we have dashboards. We show you the metrics to track. We tell you the activities that will lead to results. We have guides, which include videos showing you exactly what needs to be done. We have a dedicated account manager that will help you with it, just like that fitness coach would help you. We encourage, almost force you to log your activities because that's what helps show, is it working or is it not working? And then we want to make sure that whether it's a weekly, a monthly, a quarterly, whenever you're meeting as a management team, this is not the whole meeting, but at least on the agenda. If it truly is a big goal for you in 2022, it should be looked at just like other key metrics of your business or your department that you're analyzing. So again, we'll go through, we're going to spend a lot of time on what are some of the activities that lead to results. We fully recognize that this may not be your full-time job. A lot of people we work with are doing a million other things. So we try to break it down. dedicate 15 minutes a week, do at least one thing per week. Honestly, a lot of the stuff we suggest could be done in 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 6 minutes, things like that. But we always say 15 minutes a week is what you're shooting for. And then the last bullet on here is something we call a champion versus a sponsor. I have another slide for that. This, admittedly, when we first started doing this, a little background about WrenchWay, we were doing headhunting, traditional recruiting, and then we built these WrenchWay tools. And over the last year and a half, we saw this just works a lot better in the environment we're in. So we shifted all of our focus to this. We got away from traditional recruiting. We used employer marketing tools now, which we'll go into. But one of the things we dropped the ball on at first is we didn't identify what we call a champion. So if you were working with us, or if you're doing a program on your own, you need someone who is going to be the point person, the person who's going to be accountable to make sure at least one thing gets done every week. At first, we were saying this, but a lot of times our clients, it would be the service manager or the director of fixed ops, or if it's a smaller independent shop, it'd be the owner. We've done hundreds of them. I can tell you 99.9% of the time, it should not be a service manager or above kind of on the org chart. Those people, they probably care more than anybody else, but they also end up skipping it. A lot of stuff we talk about, the analogy I've used recently is it's kind of like watering your plants. It's not hard. It's just you have to remember to do it and you have to stay accountable. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So when we had service managers or the owner of a company be the point person for this, there was a lot of, oh, I'll get to that later. I know it's important. It's Tuesday. I was supposed to do it today, but I'll get to it before the end of the week. And then they don't. And then another week goes by and they don't. Those are the people that should be involved, but they're the ones to hold the champion accountable. So by a champion, it's usually, it's different for all of our clients. Sometimes it's someone in HR. If you have a recruiting department, that's great. Or a general HR person. Sometimes it's marketing. In a smaller shop, we have a lot that it's the receptionist. And then recently we found a good way to do this is people within the fixed ops team or the service team. It might be a younger tech or someone like that. Someone who eventually wants to be in management. It's kind of a go-getter, asking what else can I do to help to advance my career, things like that. Those are perfect people to be a champion. They can take on ownership of something. You can supervise them if you're more of a higher level manager, but they can own it. And they know it's a big goal for the company is to make sure we're finding and retaining technicians. So that is something that, you know, we recently just kind of added in our presentations because it's so important to identify that person early on. And then the management team needs to keep them accountable. So now that person probably, they also have other tasks. We're not saying this is their whole job. Again, it's 15 minutes a week, but they're not going to skip it. They might skip it that Tuesday, but Wednesday or Thursday, they'll actually do it because they know their boss is getting a report to see, did it get done last week? And over the last month, did the things get done? Kind of simple concepts there, but definitely remember that whether you use WrenchWay or you're developing your own program, you need a point person to take this seriously. And it almost certainly is not going to be an upper management person. All right, so now we talked about systems and theory and champion and stuff like that. Hopefully you get in the right mindset. Now let's dive into some of the things you can do to actually get technicians. So for this, we look at it a little differently than traditional recruiting. We call it employer marketing. Same concept. I'm trying to get people to come work for me, but it's a little different. It's more marketing principles. There's a lot of definitions out there for it. The one I like and the one we pulled for this slide is telling the story of what it's like to work at your organization to help attract and retain employees who will thrive there. So there's a lot there, but the summary is tell someone why they should work for you or show someone why they should work for you versus the 100 other places that are probably hiring in your same city, or maybe it's 500 or more. Everyone is hiring, but it's really telling that story of why someone should work for you. So I'm going to give some examples. Again, at first though, this is more of an ongoing mindset. It's not transactional. I think in the past, people think when it comes to recruiting, they wait until they need someone to hire. They post a job ad, they hope for the best. Those are very transactional activities that would go on there. With employer marketing, this is deliberate. It's meant to be ongoing. We always say, always be recruiting. Same thing, Sarah, you're shaking your head. On the marketing side, when we do marketing to get new customers, it's not done because we got a couple leads. You know, you're always wanting to see down the road who it's going to be. So that's number one, is you have to have that mindset, because the shortage isn't getting any better. Even if you're fully staffed right now, someone might get sick, significant other might get a job, move across the country. If you think you're just going to find someone immediately when that happens, best of luck, but I can guarantee that won't happen. That's why you always have to be kind of doing something with this. The other marketing principle I want to focus on is knowing your audience. Talk to any good marketing person. They talk about buyer personas, and they know where those people hang out, what blogs they read, what activities they like, things like that, what content they react to. Same thing when it comes to recruiting. I have a couple slides that's going to dive into this part pretty deep here. And then how and where will you get their attention? So just because you know who they are, you have to know where to be posting, and how often, and what resonates with them. So let me move on. This slide, so your target audience obviously is technicians. The pie chart over here on the right is what we want to focus at. Less than 5% at any given time are actively looking for a new job. And what actively looking means is they either have or are updating a resume. They're not on the job board every day, but just once or twice a month. And they're applying for jobs. So pretty common sense, actively looking. The last study I saw was closer to like 2 or 3%, not 5%. There's about 20% that they love it where they're at. I would hope it'd be more, but this isn't even just our industry thing. Across the board, it's usually anywhere from 20 to 30% in all industries just absolutely love where they're at and aren't leaving. But in our industry, 75% are open to new opportunities. But they're not on the job boards. They have a job. It's okay. But if something better came along, they would at least listen. That huge percentage, 75%, those are the ones that hardly anyone does anything to attract. So we're going to spend most of our time showing you how you can attract those people. And probably they're the better ones too. I mean, in this market we're in, if someone goes too long, sometimes there's valid reasons, you know, especially with COVID and other things where they might go a while without having a job. But usually you kind of wonder in this environment if they've gone a long time without a job, unless they're home taking care of kids or something like that. You know, the good ones usually have a job. They might not be happy where they're at, but those are the people you want to be targeting. All that being said, we don't want to ignore the active ones. So I'm just going to spend a minute on that and show kind of where the mistakes we see shops and dealerships making. So these ones, you can get their attention on the job boards. It's hard because you go to any city. I don't know what this screenshot has. So you can see at the top, I think we pulled this from Indeed, one of 593 jobs for auto technician in Portland, Oregon. Every city is going to have a similar thing. I was working with a client earlier today in Denver. I think theirs was 860. If you read through these, read through like 5 of them. Just try to think of them as a technician. Probably look pretty similar. Everyone has a bullet point about how great their culture is, and the company's been around for so many years, and best in class equipment. It's not to make fun of that. You have to put some of that stuff on there, but everyone's putting the same thing. So if I'm a technician, how am I going to choose which one I want to apply for? Studies show 65% of people will see a job ad on a job board and then go out to a website and try to learn more information. So think about your website. If someone goes there, are they going to know what it's like to work as a technician if you're lucky to get them there? So what we do for that is we create what we call a Top Shop page. This is a page dedicated just to technicians, service advisors. It shows photos, not if you're a dealership, not of all your new cars you're trying to sell. It's photos of where they're going to be working, photos of the equipment that you have. There's a section called Under the Hood that gets into details they care about. So what type of work environment is it? What's your kind of parts ordering process? Things that we surveyed I think just under 1,000 technicians, and we were looking for the stuff they care about that's never really on a job board. They find it out during an interview, but they want to find it out well before the interview because they need to know these things before they even decide to apply. There's video on there as well, which we're going to talk more about. But the point is, we get our clients, most of them, to link this to their website. So when a technician comes from a job board there or comes from other places there, they can get a good understanding of what it's like to work there. That being said, we also work with some very large companies that getting anything put on their website will take 2 years to get approved. So a cool thing about that is on the job boards, you can just link it right out to there and say, for more information, including videos, including photos of what it's like to actually work here, check out this page. We can provide language for that, but that works really well in addition to putting it on your site, is to direct them there. Those are different things that other job posts aren't doing, and they're going to help you stand out more. All right, so for the active candidates, the one posting on job boards, my kind of summary there is try to make your job post stand out. Don't be like everyone else, and show them videos, show them pictures, push them towards the area that really highlights why they should work for you. But let's focus some time on the passive candidates. So again, as a reminder, this is the 75% that are open to new opportunities, but they're not, but they currently have a job. Sorry, excuse me. So a couple questions. I always like to think, whether it's in marketing, where I like to think like a potential buyer, or in recruiting, I want to think like a potential technician to work for me. So I want to find out, if they're not on the job boards, where are they? How can I get their attention? We've looked at all different things. There's some cliche stuff of a lot of the people in this industry like racing or hunting or, other sports, and trying to advertise in those publications. It works okay, but at the end of the day, the thing you got to realize is they're humans. They're probably on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, a lot more on LinkedIn than you think. That kind of surprised me when I first got into this industry. Snapchat. We even have a TikTok channel now where we post videos. We get hundreds of thousands of views that are catered just towards technicians. So they are humans. A lot of times we like to identify our customer or our target recruit by their profession instead of by humans. But the thing I would take away is most of these people are on social media. So let's focus a lot on that for the next few minutes here. And then, when should you be trying? It'd be great if you knew exactly when they're looking for a new job. That's what being on a job board kind of indicates. I mean, doesn't kind of, it flat out tells you they are looking for a new job. That's why they're on the job board. The passive ones, though, keep in mind, they're not actively looking. So you have to be consistent. You have to be posting things over and over, and they see it, they'll note it. They might not apply right away, but then something happens at their job a month later where they get mad, or they're like, I'm sick of this, I'm done, or a video or something of yours catches their attention. You want to be the first one that they think of. So when should you be trying to get their attention? Basically all the time. And then what types of content? I'm going to go in detail on that. So what are they interested in? We surveyed a variety of technicians and what they're looking for. I was kind of surprised because I thought compensation would be number one, and it's actually tied with career development for number two. Now, I think as we dove deeper on this, it kind of assumes that compensation is at least in the ballpark. If you're a place that just pays terribly, I mean, that's going to be number one for everybody. You could have the best culture in the world, and if you're not at least in the ballpark, none of this other stuff is going to matter. So that's kind of my caveat before I get into the rest of it. But career development, especially younger technicians, talk to any student coming into the industry. That's usually their first question. There's a ton of content you can do around that. And then work environment, that's by far the number one. The best part for us trying to recruit technicians, it's the easiest content to create. So let's get into some of that. So we want to show them content that they care about, but they're not actively looking for a job. And just like you all hate salespeople when they're constantly trying to sell you something, that's how technicians feel. They don't want to be recruited over and over. Come work for here. We do this better. Quit your job, blah, blah, blah. Don't just post an ad on your Facebook account saying, we're hiring, check out the open position. You can do that once in a while, but I can pretty much guarantee you, you're not going to get nearly as many clicks as some of the other things I'll show you here in a second. The key is show them why they should work for you. So instead of saying, come work for us because we offer this, just show them a technician using some new equipment you had or something like that. You know, you're trying to just get the message across that you're a great place to work. You don't have to tell them, come work for us. They'll figure that out if you do this right. The other thing I put on here is authenticity wins. So we're going to talk a lot about video here. When it comes to video, authentic is the best way to go. Sarah, maybe you can chime in. Let me say my part real quick here. It used to be in a marketing video, you'd hire, you know, a studio and you'd have a script or maybe even a cartoon video that we've all seen, explainer videos, they usually call them. Now it works so much better if you pull out your smartphone and you just get a technician talking about why they love it there. You get your service manager talking about his or her management style. You get the owner talking about the pride he or she takes in the business. Unscripted, you can plan it, you can have bullet points, but those authentic, real videos, those work so much better than any marketing one. Sarah, sorry, I'll let you chime in on that part.
Yeah, no, I was just going to agree. You know, I spent a chunk of my career trying to avoid video. I'm a behind the scenes type of gal, and it's unavoidable now. There's no stopping it. The shops that are avoiding it and not wanting to create video, they're going to be behind. They aren't going to find the text. And as far as the authentic content goes, like there's so much content on social media and online that text can sniff out the corporate, stuffy, fake, scripted videos, and they're not going to pay any attention to them. They're not going to believe what anybody's saying in them. What they're going to believe is if they just see a couple texts sitting around talking about, you know, what music they play in the shop, where they like to go to lunches or happy hours in the area, or just like talking and being real. That's going to get you so much farther than any sort of scripted video will.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm going to go through some examples here in a second, but the other great part about these authentic videos, they work better. So that's really all that matters. But the other great part is they're cheap. They don't cost anything. You don't have to hire third parties. You can if you want, but you can, everyone has a smartphone. We do a lot where we just record through Zoom like this. They're easy to do. If you screw it up, most of these videos end up being 2-3 minutes long. So if you screw it up, you're out to 3 minutes and you try it again. Sometimes the bloopers are even better to post anyway. But they don't cost you much in terms of time or money or like video AV skill stuff either. So it's kind of the perfect time to embrace video in all of marketing, but especially when it comes to recruiting technicians. So there's a couple stats down there. When you do post them on social media, the algorithms of Facebook, LinkedIn, all of them, they like video better, so they'll pick them up more. People stop and watch them more. They perform better. There's a reason they promote them more. Facebooks of the world is they know people like those better. So you don't need to do your own research. Like they're doing it for you. You just have to put in a lot of effort to create some video. Now, everyone we talk to, every single new client, they're scared of video. They don't want to be on it. Like Sarah said, she was behind the scenes. So we do a few of them to loosen them up a little. And then once people embrace it, Sarah just did a great case study last week with a client who was a little reluctant at first to do it and then embraced it. And they got a text that came in. And when someone comes in for an interview, they ask how you heard of them. It was because of the video. And this stuff just works. So I want to spend, even though this is one slide, I want to spend a few minutes on each one of these talking about how easy it is to create video. Again, we have tons of guides for these individually. We have account managers to show you how to do it. But if you wanted to try some on your own, here's some pointers coming up here. So one really easy one, use Zoom, use Microsoft Teams, something like that. Set it up like we are right now without the PowerPoint slide. We would just have, like if I was doing this with Sarah, and let's pretend you're a service manager, I would ask you questions as if I'm a technician. So I want to know a little more detail about how your pay plan works. It says you have a guarantee. Can you tell me what that means? Like how much of it is guaranteed? You guys have all done interviews. You know what questions come up. There's stuff you maybe don't want to put out there for the world to see, but most of it is not proprietary. You're not sharing your financials or anything like that. But think of questions that come up and just do a mock interview and post those. Those work really well to explain what you do. The second one, new equipment in the shop, these work great. So if you got some sort of new equipment that came in, or you've had something for a while, but your technicians love it and it saves them a bunch of time, shoot that on a video. Talk about why you purchased it. Talk about how much time it saves for your technicians. Now, when I post that on my Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or wherever, even if I'm a tech not looking for a job, I see something cool like that, I'm going to stop and watch that. And I might not apply right then, but then I follow you, or because I stopped and watched it, their algorithm knows that I was interested. So now when you post other stuff, they'll show it to me. And I may watch another video of yours 2 weeks from now and another 3 weeks down the road. And now all of a sudden I know exactly who you are. And I wasn't looking before, but now I'm pretty interested. I might apply for these guys and see what happens, or at least reach out. Or you do catch me at the right time where I am frankly pissed off at my current job. Then I think of you first to apply. So those videos, just stuff like that with equipment, those work really well. Those you don't need the script. Anyone on your team, if they love that equipment, they will gladly talk about it and kind of explain some of it. Another easy one is recognize or congratulate your own employees. So let's say someone passed some ASC certifications. Post a video congratulating them about that. They're going to share it on their own Facebook or other team members as well. So you're now not only congratulating, people will notice that. Other technicians in your community will chime in. They'll like it. They'll say congrats. They'll take note that you guys do recognize your technicians. Maybe you gave them a little bonus for completing it, or even a little gift card or something. Those recognition videos do wonders for recruiting, but nowhere in the video are you saying, if you also want to do this, come work for us. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is post the video, recognizing how great a job they did, congratulating them, whatever it is. You're just trying to show how good you are to work for. Don't turn it into a sales pitch. That can come later, but just talk about, this person did a great job, and ideally get them on also saying why they like to work there, or Sarah's Auto Body Shop was so willing to help me out while I was studying for the exams, or Tim in the department helped tutor me along. Get them to tell those testimonials. That's the stuff for these passive candidates that when they're scrolling through social media, they're going to stop on that stuff. Another really easy and effective and great one is monthly updates. Most people we talk to are busier than they've ever been. They're setting sales records. Again, you don't need to share your specific numbers, but show the excitement. Shoot a quick video if you're the owner, if you're the service manager, saying, we just crushed it last month. Our team did an amazing job. Here's an example of a customer who was thrilled, or I want to give a special shout out. You can combine this one with the recognition to our lube techs did a great job. They set a record for more than we've ever done. Everyone in the department is just excited. Bring on the next month. Be real, be authentic. Don't be fake. But chances are right now you have a lot of good things going on. Give updates. You want to show those prospective technicians that you're busy, that there's enough work for them, and they're going to make the money that they're looking for. Another great one. Pull out your smartphone, walk around and do a tour of your shop. You probably do it when people come in to interview. Why not do it ahead of time? You don't need fancy 3D cameras or anything like that. Just walk them through, and don't just take a video and show them. Actually comment on it. Talk, this is our reception area where customers come in. This is our break room. This is, our parts area, whatever it is. Just describe it a little as if you're walking, if someone's right there beside you walking through. School and community events. Hopefully you guys are working with your local schools to help grow the next generation, and that's where you can find next great technicians. We have a whole business line of that. We can talk separately about working with schools, but when you do work with them, shoot a quick video about that. Maybe you're speaking at a classroom, or maybe a class comes in and tours your shop. Get a video of that. Maybe you donated some parts to your local high school. Get a video with the instructor, and then he or she can thank you for that. Those make great content. Again, you're just reinforcing. You guys care about employees. You care about the profession. Those things work really well. Fun activities. Sarah just won our fantasy football league. We gave her a trophy. We, could do a video on that. Maybe Fridays you get the team together for something, or maybe you had a holiday party. Just anything you do fun, even if it's just every office environment, shop environment I've ever been in, everyone has the character, the joker of the group. Just film them for a little bit. Sometimes there's probably stuff you don't want to show. But just, people that crack you up, just get them on camera and show that you're real, you're humans, and not everything has to be stuffy, just career job oriented. So anything fun works well. Customer stories. I already talked about how your comp plan works. I want to move on here because I ramble a lot, but I could talk about videos all day long, and everyone is so scared. And then if I could work with someone for an hour, I guarantee I could get 10, maybe not 10, I'll say 7 or 8 good high quality videos for them that would populate their content for the next 6 months. It's not that hard. Everyone just makes excuses and says, oh, I don't want to do video, but then they complain about not finding anybody. All right, now that you shot the videos, you want to post them on your own social media, but you want to get your employees to share them as well. So if you shoot the right videos, they'll share them without even thinking. If you recognize them, if you talk about fun activities, if you show off your good equipment, they probably would share them anyway if you tell them to. Sarah pulled this stat for me. This is a couple years old, but it's still relevant. Posts, if they get shared by employees, 561% farther than a post that is just shared by your company page. That's because, well, I keep using Facebook as an example, but they're all the same. They limit the audience you see. So even if you have 2,000 followers on your Facebook page, there's maybe 200 of those that they even show your post to, because there's a lot of posts out there and they want you to buy ads. But if you get someone on your team to share that same post, it will reach a much farther audience. Plus it reaches their friends, their coworkers, or their people they used to go to school with, their family, their neighbors, people that they might not even know who your company is. So it just expands that net, expands the reach of who's going to see your post. So you don't want to just make these videos. You do want to post them on your own Facebook, your own LinkedIn, everywhere, but get your employees to do it as well. This is another area where we have improved dramatically. Just in the last month, we released a new tool. We always told our clients to do that. But then what do the clients do? Maybe send out an email to their team saying, we have a new video, can you guys share it? Maybe they bump into them and they ask them. But instead, we made a specific page just for employees that it posts one thing. It could be one thing a week, it could be one thing a month, but it posts a link. So first, we also create posters that you can hang in your break room or something like that. It has a QR code right on it. Someone pulls out their phone, says, hey, what's this? I can win prizes. Pulls out their phone and goes to the page. And it's just saying, hey, we made a video congratulating Sarah on passing her last ASE certification. Can you share it on your own social? There's buttons right there where they can share it. But if you also throw in a prize, for everyone that shares this, we're going to do a drawing for $25 gift card to the lunch diner up the street that everyone goes to, or a $100 Amazon card, or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be huge amounts of money, but put a little prize in there. We built a page to make this easy. We provide you a poster to get people to do it, to remind them. Switch it up every once in a while. But that $50 you spend, that $100 you spend is going to be far better than any ad you'll ever get on Indeed, any Facebook ad you'll ever have. I guarantee the reach you get out of that will be much more impactful, and the money's going to your employee, whoever wins the prize. It's not going to Facebook or whoever. We also built in, Sarah, I see you 1 second, leaderboard over here too. So you could say, all right, we're going to track over 6 months or a year who helps us out the most by sharing our messages. maybe someone gets to 15 shares over the course of 6 months, so they get a gift card, or whoever gets the most is going to get a little bigger prize. There's a lot of simple gamification stuff we built in, but we took it a step further, where in the past we used to just encourage and tell people this stuff works. Now we actually built tools to make sure it gets done. What were you going to say, Sarah?
Just real quick, some people in the chat were talking earlier about the referral programs. Jeff, you said it really well, like the best in-house recruiters are your current technicians. And some people out there are chatting about their referrals, and there's some awesome bonuses. And I just want to point out, like, those are great, and that's awesome that you have that, but it can just be rewarding your employees for sharing on social. Something that small and offering just a small prize for that, that's enough too, and that goes a long way as well. And that's what I love about these team share pages, is it just makes it that much easier to encourage employees to share it.
Excellent point. I'm glad you brought that up. It's not an either or. It doesn't mean if you have a referral program, get rid of it. Definitely keep it. If you don't have one, you should add it. But a referral typically is paid out once someone's hired, or more likely maybe half when they're hired and half after they've been there 90 days or something like that. So that's going from here to here. Can't even see on the screen. That's a big step for me as an employee to think, who do I know that might be looking for a job? I reach out to them. Maybe they're interested. Okay, now they get hired. And like, that's probably, I might get discouraged and not do it. Hopefully they don't. Like I said, those work really well. But we want to reward the first step, not just the final step. The first step is, even if you don't know anyone looking, you can share a video of our shop equipment or congratulating Sarah. It's not asking any of your friends, but some of your friend that you went to school with 10 years ago and you forgot you were even connected with them, they might see that and they might be happening to look at that moment. So great point, Sarah. Employee referral programs are great, but you can do a lot before that and for a lot cheaper too. All right, moving on, because I said I wouldn't take the hour, and I think I'm going to because I'm rambling. All right, so kind of pulling it all together. I have one slide after this, but the pulling it all together part, don't just have a goal. Don't just tell me that this is a priority for you guys this year. Actually put a system in place. We built a tool for this. Of course, I'd rather you have us do it, but you can probably pull some things together on your own if you don't want to work with us. Hopefully you do, but you need some sort of system with some accountability. Track your activities. Don't just say it and then don't think about it again until the next month when you didn't do anything. And of course you didn't get any results. Have that champion. We made that mistake in our early days of not forcing our clients to identify a champion, someone who's actually going to get stuff done. The second bullet, know your audience. How are you going to get in front of them? If you want to attract those passive candidates, the good ones that already have jobs, it's not going to be on the job boards. When do you need to reach out? I said this already. Always, always, always. Consistency is the key. You can't guarantee when they see it, but if you do one small thing each week, you'll eventually get to them. And then where? It's all over the board. There's more than social media that we talk about too. I can't fit all of it into an hour here. But even if all you do is the different social channels and get your employees to share, you'll be shocked. Not tomorrow, not next week, but a few months from now, you'll be shocked of the results that come just from those simple things. Third bullet, tell your story with content. It doesn't have to be, here's my job ad, here's why you should come work for me. Just show off a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that. I had this on a slide earlier. Document, don't create. I stole this from he's kind of a loud internet guy, Gary Vaynerchuk. I love his stuff. Sarah's laughing because she's not as big of a fan, but that saying is true. What that means is you don't have to think of, I have to be creative to create videos, or I need a production crew or anything like that. You don't have to do any of that. Those days are gone. You just document what you have. Do that in video form and talk about your team, talk about your equipment, talk about your owners. That's all the creative you ever need, is just showing real life examples. Distribute, we already talked about. And then last point, consistency and accountability. You've heard me say it 20 times, probably at least. Once a week, do at least one thing. If this truly is a goal, you can hold to that. Everyone's busy. Maybe you take 1 week off or something. Someone's on vacation. You can find someone else to do it then. But at least one thing a week is what you should be shooting for. We always say 15 minutes. It's really like 5 minutes on most of the things. but it's not just the person doing it. You have to keep them accountable. I doubt there's anyone listening right now that doesn't have a monthly management meeting or a weekly team meeting or a quarterly executive meeting or whatever meetings you have. Make this at least one bullet point on that agenda. Say 5 minutes at the end or at the beginning or something. If you can't spare that time in that meeting, it's not as big of a priority as you're making it out to be. And kind of good luck with the shortage, because it's even the last 6 months, it's not getting any better. Everyone's hiring even more. So you have to make it a priority. Before I go on to my last slide here, we'll have plenty of time for questions. Sarah, I'm sure I either missed something or you lead our marketing efforts, even though we're marketing to get new clients. There's a lot of overlap with marketing here that maybe some things your perspective that I missed on.
Yeah, I would just say that, I mean, recruiting is a lot like marketing in that it's never ends. It's not like a one and done. You always need more leads. You need to constantly be sharing content and creating new content and sharing it. And creating the content is just the first step. You always need to promote. So you need to be promoting on social media. You need to get employees to share. I think about it kind of like this webinar. We didn't just create this webinar. We emailed people multiple times to ask them to join. We had our employees share videos on social media. We posted in groups and event listings. Like, a lot of work goes on behind the scenes in order to make it successful. And that's the same thing for recruiting. You just constantly need to be promoting and looking for people, because you're never going to not need techs.
Yeah, and I think the other thing I'd add is, in marketing, we survey our clients and we talk to prospects that don't buy from us and we ask why. And same thing, if you don't know what content to put out, ask your employees, why did they come to work here? What's the best part about their job that, saves them time? Or what's something, if they meet a buddy in a bar and they ask what it's like working here, what's the first thing you mention? They'll tell you the stuff that you should be bragging about. Honestly, you also should be asking about what are some things you don't like about your job, because you may be able to fix it, or if it's something that you can't do anything about, but they don't understand why. Usually when you tell them the why part, it makes more sense. We probably could do a whole topic on that, of just getting content ideas and adjusting your own process or your own internal stuff to make sure your existing employees don't leave. But though your employees, that's gold mine for information of stuff. You're trying to get more of them, so it's like whatever they like, the people you're trying to attract probably like too. All right, my last slide before questions. So some bonus points. We talked a lot about attracting technicians. If you do everything we just talked about, if you make it a priority, if you tell the world, if you post on social media, if you get your employees to post about how great a place you are to work for, how the cool equipment you have, the awesome people you have, the community you're supporting, that's going to help with retaining technicians as well. That's just as important, if not more important, than recruiting technicians. If I work for a company and they're asking me to be in a video and they're recognizing employees publicly in a video, they're investing in equipment and showing the world that they're, everything we already talked about, that's going to make me feel proud to work there, especially if I get a say in the stuff they're working on. It just helps make them feel part of it, not just a number, not just a warm body. They want to be part of all of this. They want to help grow the team as well. So everything we do, we hear from clients all the time that we purchase your solution to help find techs, but we're finding it's bringing our team closer together. We're having more engaged employees. We uncovered some issues that we didn't know about, which kind of sucks at first, but because we didn't know about them, we didn't ever do anything. Now we know, so now we can fix them. So retaining technicians, it helps a ton with that. Honestly, it helps with customer acquisition and customer loyalty too. Every customer you have, I know we work with all different size companies, but I'm going to use auto companies here. People that aren't technicians, but they see your employees posting videos about how they like working there, or that you're investing in them. That makes me feel better about where I'm taking my car to get fixed. I want to, work for a place that does value their people. And I maybe wouldn't know about the technician shortage, but if there's a video and it's talking about that, or even just showing how complicated cars are today, and it's not like the movies and kind of grease monkey stuff and things like that, I want to know that stuff, and then I'm going to be more appreciative of the place, the dealership, the independent shop, whatever it is that I take my car. So if you have marketers listening to this, everything we're talking about will help you drive customer traffic as well. And then the last one, our whole mission at WrenchWay, we do all this because we want to promote the profession. We want to promote the industry. We want to help solve the technician shortage. If you guys are helping out by posting videos about great technicians, about how important the job is and how much skill it takes and knowledge it takes, it only helps promote the profession. It maybe some high school kid sees it and decides they want to go into it. Maybe a parent sees it who in the past had the faux pas, the thing we all hate about everyone, guidance counselors, everyone pushing their kids only to 4-year degrees, and that's all that you can do, blah, blah, blah. I think we're, as a society, moving past some of that. But the more you can post stuff like this, the more that helps as well. I know that's not your job. That's our mission, not yours, but it does help when you guys post that stuff too. But mostly it helps you guys find techs. So there are probably other benefits as well. The point is, don't be afraid to tell your story. You don't have to invest a lot of time in all of this stuff, but get your name out there, show off a little about what you guys have to offer. Don't just make it a bullet point in a job ad to get buried under 400 ones on Indeed. You know, actually put some effort into this, and it can be fun while you're doing it too. All right, I'll shut up. Sarah, what do we have for questions?
Real quick before we get into questions, do you want to just push out the poll question? I'll just leave this live for like 30 seconds, but basically we didn't talk a lot about WrenchWay today, but we want to give you the opportunity that if you want to learn more about WrenchWay, we'd be happy to send you some more information. So we'll just give you a couple of seconds on here, and then we will jump into the Q&A.
And we can leave that on, Sarah, if you want to ask the first question.
Sure, yeah, good idea. The first question I had, let's go with, how do you recommend shooting these short videos as well as editing, spacing out the videos?
Yeah, good, excellent question. Those are some things that I couldn't fit it in here. We have guides and account manager to help with that. Some quick summary points. Smartphones work great. The cameras on them are amazing now. If you're close up, you won't need a microphone, but if you're in a shop, you probably will. On Amazon, maybe we can provide some links, but they're like 10 to 15 bucks, like a lapel mic, that, especially if you're shooting them in a shop, I would just invest in one of those. Super cheap. Like the mock interview ones that I said, Zoom has free accounts. Microsoft Teams, I think, is free. There's a ton of video ones out there. We do a lot of those where we'll interview our clients and we just hide our face, so it's only them that are being seen. So just on Zoom, recording that. And then as far as editing, a lot of them we post as is. We want that authenticity, ahs, stuff like that, stuff we got yelled at in speech class. That actually works in this environment. So leave that stuff in within reason. You know, if it's super annoying, then maybe reshoot it. But if you do want to edit it, the free tools that come with your laptop, or Sarah, I'll let you chime in if someone wanted a little better editing tools, stuff that maybe we use on the podcast. You don't need them, but if you want to, what are some of the tools?
Yeah, I don't think you need any paid ones. I mean, any iPhone or smartphone has video editing on there. I use a regular PC laptop, and there's like Windows Movie Maker, any of those basic things where you can just make some basic trims and maybe add a transition. It's good enough. It'll get you by.
All that being said, I'm a big believer. Just get it out. It's more important what you say, as long as the audio is not crappy or things like that. You know, just get it out there is more important than editing. I think you don't want to post a 2-hour-long narrative either. You know, keep it a little shorter. I think the last part of the question was about spacing it out. I'm guessing that means like when to post which ones. Well, that's how I'm going to take the question anyway, and then you can tell me if I'm wrong. A lot of these videos are great where if you just block out an hour, you can record 7, 8 different videos. I definitely wouldn't post them all right away. I would post one, then a week or two, I'd post another one, and then another one. And it's totally okay after it's been a month or even 2 months to repost the same one to get your team to share it, but spread them out. If you're active, I would try to go once a week, but honestly, a couple a month. I tell our clients at a bare minimum, do 2 a month. The monthly update is the easiest one ever and maybe the most effective. So a monthly update, and I usually in the monthly update, I give a shout out to an employee. So that's one video. And then just one other one throughout the month, whether it's shop equipment or any of the other things we went through. But there's no excuse not to be able to get 2 videos out a month, in my opinion.
All right, next question. So it says, I think social media and video helps us with a younger market, but in your experience, who has the lower turnover rate, a younger or more experienced techs?
Sorry, can you repeat the middle part of that again? The
Yes.
whole question threw me off.
Right. I think the social media and video helps with the younger markets, but in your experience, who has a lower turnover rates, the younger or more experienced techs?
Yeah. So the first part of helps with the younger market, honestly, that's a cliche. My grandma's on Facebook. My mom is 62 or something, 61. Hopefully she's not watching. I should know that. She's on TikTok. Like, I know not everybody is, but all those platforms have aged up quite a bit. I think Snapchat's highest growing market is 40 to 50-year-olds. Not every older person is on them, but a lot of them are. Walk around your shop. I bet a lot of them are on Snapchat. They're definitely texting, things like that. You have to find other ways for some that aren't, because nothing is absolute in this world. But it's 2022. There's a lot more people on these. We hear all the time that techs aren't on LinkedIn either. Maybe we have success there because no one else looks there, but oh my gosh, there's so many that are on there. So I would argue, I think that's an easy, I don't want to say excuse, but an easy cliche to make, that the data just shows differently. And honestly, the anecdotal stories like I just give show differently too.
All right, next question is, how do you get management to buy into a program like this if we currently have a full team?
Yeah, so I would say use that scenario of what happens if so-and-so gets sick, if someone's significant other leaves. You're probably trying to grow as a company, so you want to hire more. Any of those should help, to say for the small time investment, it's well worth doing. If that doesn't work, talk about some of the other benefits I had on there. Customers like seeing this stuff too. Your existing team likes seeing that stuff to keep them. That should be a pretty easy one. It does come up once in a while where clients tell us, all right, we're doing it. We did it for 2 months. We have people. Now we're going to stop for 2 months. And it's like, no, why wouldn't you just keep going? It's, we haven't talked about our cost, but ours is $150 a month. It's worth it to keep going in case someone leaves. That's your prerogative if that's what you want to do, but this problem isn't getting any worse. So I would invest a little bit of time and a little bit of money to keep pushing through those.
The last question I have, you still have time to submit questions. We have a couple more minutes, but the last question was, how much is WrenchWay? So you already answered that one.
Yeah, let me say though, it varies based on number of locations. A 1 location shop, we charge $150 a month. And then to set up everything we do, we create that page. We have an account manager. We'll shoot 3 videos with you. We walk you through everything. There is a one-time onboarding fee of $950, but then it's $150 after that. But if you have we work with clients, like our biggest client has close to 300 locations. So, they're paying more than $150 a month in total, but for one to get set up, $150.
Perfect. Well, I think that about wraps it up. As we mentioned, we did record this webinar, so we'll be emailing that out this week. But thank you so much, Mark, for presenting your knowledge to everyone. We appreciate it. And thank you to everyone who attended. I loved watching the chat. It was so fun to watch everyone talk with each other. So thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, everybody.